Alrighty, so we live and in action again. Another day. We had a great conversation on yesterday. First and foremost, thank everybody that took time to watch. Of course, thank my brothers for taking out the time to get with me so that we can actually do this. Of course, we're here primarily to open up the dialogue. And to get to the place where we put an end to this Cold War, or not the Cold War that has been going on between melanated men and women. We're giving you the honest to God truth from the male perspective. Really, that's what it boils down to. We're going to have fun with it. We're going to have fun with it today. Don't know exactly what the topic is going to be, but I'm too ready to really dive into it. I know yesterday, Lamar had us do a wellness check. Not I'm doing much better than what I was doing yesterday. From emotional, physically, spiritually, a whole nine. I'm recharged, not recharged. I wish that y'all would be able to see what we talk about off camera, or not. Maybe we'll put some clips out there for y'all to be able to see exactly what goes on. Y'all gonna want to make sure that y'all tune in next week, because next week we actually get to go live, and I will literally be on the East Coast, so a good portion of us will be in the same room discussing these matters and really pushing forward. So I'm excited about it. So how everybody doing on the panel? How everybody feeling?
Good.
Decent.
Doing real good.
That's what's up. All right. What about you, Lee and D? Oh, there we go. How y'all doing? Y'all good?
I'm cool for the most part, but I'm still sleepy from that drive last night. So first off of
Yeah. Oh, buddy. What about you, Lee? How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
All right. All right. Anybody got anything pressing on their heart they need to say before we jump into this thing? Going once. Going twice. All right. D, what we talking about today, man?
All right. Conversation of the day. Somebody just told me to smile. I don't know what it is. But our conversation of the day is, if you can go back in to the past and have a conversation with yourself, what advice would you give yourself on dating and marriage?
What advice would I give my past self on dating and marriage? All right. Before we even start asking this, if you're watching right now, go ahead, like and share. Like and share right now. Normally I go first. I ain't going first today. Somebody else jump in. Let's go.
There's a lot of things I'm going back to my old self to talk about. For this question, I would tell myself to stick to the same standard that I had when I was young. If I don't have anything for a woman to give her, as in a wife, don't pursue it. Dating is for marriage. Stick to that. Build yourself while preparing yourself for that next step. Don't compromise to society's view and teachings.
All right. All right. Let's go, Lee.
All right. Well, wow. That was good, Chris. I would say to myself how important it is to be intentional about dating. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Just how important it is to be intentional about dating. I would if I could go back and tell myself to just work on myself before I put myself in a situation to date a woman, I would tell myself, man, go and build yourself up. Be all that you can be. Men are not born with value. Men have to create value for themselves. And a lot of value that I created, my wife tolerated while I was getting it together with her. And if I could go back in time, I would build myself up the way that I was supposed to be built. And then I would have been a person that would be able to offer something of great value to start. And I could have saved myself a lot of heartache.
All right. That's what's up. All right, Trail, where you at with it? Make sure you introduce yourself as well. That way everybody know who you are. You're on mute there, brother.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Cottrell Lewis. For me, I think basically I would have to piggyback off what Lee said. I mean, definitely learn more about you. You know, for me, it'll be learn more about me, you know, more financially, know how to deal with wealth, you know, finances before you even step into that realm of dating. Because if you cannot deal with the wealth part of you and then the health part and then knowing what to do, you know, and how to date, you know what it really means and what it is to date a person, you know, how it is to really court a woman, you know, in the way that is, you know, that our parents, you know, showed us how to court and all of that stuff. So for me, it would be learn more about me, learn more about real dating. You know, it's not, you know, just spending money. You know, you got to learn how to, you know, take somebody on a picnic. You know, it's not all about money. It's all about, you know, what you and her build together. So that would be me. No more, you know, get to know me more. You know, get to know my finances more. Get to know, you know, my health and everything else more.
All right. Let's go, D.
I would definitely tell myself, go get the money. Do not put a woman's feelings and emotions over handling your business. If I would have applied that on that way of thinking about a decade ago, man, that's it.
All right. All right. I'm gonna tell you now, part of it, we couldn't hear you because it was what's the word for it? It was cutting
That's
in.
bad reception.
It was
Yeah,
cutting
that's bad
in.
reception.
That's that hotel internet.
Once again, yeah, it's a little bad Wi-Fi. Once again, I would tell myself, go get all the money. Do not worry about no relationship, putting no women feelings over handling your priorities. Go handle your business first.
Yeah, that's what's up. All right. So, what would I tell the younger version of me? Or not? The first thing that I say is you don't have anything to prove. Nothing to prove. Not to yourself and not to anybody else around you. Period. I would tell them that when our father told us to stick to our first mind, listen to what he said and stand on it. And stand on it. That original plan that you had to get to where you want to be at, do it. And don't change it up for nobody at all. No matter how you feel, as far as responsibility and being a man and things of that particular nature. Don't let anybody change you from the path and that you set for yourself. Nobody whatsoever. What do you need? That's good, man. All right. Step out my room, lock the door on the way out. Thank you. Hold on 1 second. Come here. Come back. Need y'all to see what was just interrupted. Go ahead and show the people. The Dragon Ball thing.
Hey, that looks good.
Yeah.
He drew that? He drew that?
Yeah.
Yo, that's nice.
20 me and his mama. Oh, that's what we used to do. All right, now you can go. I don't care. I don't care. Now, go ahead. Block my door. No, we can't nobody else walk in here. Thank you. All right, my apologies for the interruption. Hey, you already know what it is, man. I got a lot of kids. So it's just like that. But I tell him to be 100% honest with himself or whatnot. Be led by the Most High, everything it is that you actually do. Love yourself before anybody else. Learn how to love yourself, because if you can't love yourself, you're not going to know how to love anybody else the correct way. And then the last thing that I would tell them is to be straight up about everything. Straight up about everything. Now you're going to come to a path in your life where your beliefs are going to shift and change, especially as it pertains to marriage and relationships, things of that particular nature. Be straight up about it. Be straight up about it with everyone that you actually come across. Save you a whole lot of headache. But in essence, you know what I'm saying? That's what I would tell myself. Questions like that, I like them, love them really, but I'm happy with who I am. You know what I'm saying? It took a lot of struggle and everything else to actually get here. If I could have avoided it, I put it to you like this: if I could have avoided the struggle and still be who I am right now, still be with my wife right now, I'd do it. I would love it. Like if I could go back and guide myself through all the BS, help myself get through the BS, but still guide myself, you know what I'm saying, to the relationships. I ain't gonna say financial or anything of that particular nature. If I could guide myself through the relationships that I have right now, then I would do it. I definitely was. But like I said, everything happens for a reason. It does. Everything happens for a reason.
It's just winning and lessons, huh? So all of those things necessary to make us who we are today. We might like most of us out there who have conscientiously worked on ourselves. We probably feel like, I like how I'm turning out. I still have a way to go or ways to go, but it's those decisions that kind of made us, it's those decisions that's kind of put us in a position that we're in today. Because I wouldn't be married to the woman that I'm married to today if I didn't go through some of the bull crap relationships that I went through before, because I probably wouldn't have ended up back in Virginia to meet my wife. I would have been on a different path. And so it's all a necessary evil, if you will.
Definitely. You know, I was watching a TV show, right? The name of the TV show is American Gods. I don't know if y'all watched that or not, but I do. And one of the ladies that was up there, one of the characters was in so-called purgatory, and they was basically forcing her to watch, you know, a area within her life that caused basically everything to change. Like she saw it one way, but they forced her to watch it from a realistic standpoint of what really took place, what really happened, versus, you know what I'm saying, what she actually felt. If I could do that, right? If I could go back to my younger self and be like, look, I'm about to take about 24 hours of your time and just plug something up to my memory, to my mind, and just roll scrolling through and just be like, you see this? You see this right here? I want you to avoid this. That person right there, you don't want no parts of it. No parts of it whatsoever. That's literally, that is literally what I would do if I could. You know what I'm saying? If I could. What?
You know, can I say something?
Go ahead.
All right. So, and eventually I'll write a book about this, but I had moved from Portsmouth, Virginia to Herndon, Virginia, my junior year. And I ended up going up there. I didn't play football until my senior year. My senior year, I ended up playing football, balled out. I went to Fort Union. After I went to Fort Union, I got these scholarships. I chose to go play at a particular school, Ohio State. So then the first piece of advice my brother gave me, and he was like the male figure in my life. He's 14 years older than me. He told me, he said, Lee, whatever you do not get in any relationship your first year of college. He said, you're trying to figure out school life and you're trying to figure out football life. And you hit it on the head when you could go to a particular time for 24 hours in your life. I remember that fateful day, like that person walking in front of me with this wool coat on. And I said, that was the moment that I would have been right there and I would have said, oh, hell no. Please let that one keep walking. Mm-hmm. And because that day right there began the darkest hours of my life. And if I could just stop myself and say, stop, stupid, no. And all of the signs were there. And it's so easy to live unconsciously doing things and pay no attention to what's going on. But the signs are always there. So I would definitely add, please pay attention to the signs. If it walk like a duck and it quack like a duck, it is a duck. You can't make it change for nothing. And my gosh, man, I mean, I went through so many. That right there set me up for the next sequence of the next 20 years. And it all could have been so simple.
I lied to you now. That was actually my next comment I was about to make myself. Trusting your intuition, and when you see them red flags, leave it alone. Don't ask any questions, leave it alone. That's the phase I am in my life right now. I'm like, if I see something that just don't sit right in my spirit, we ain't about to have no conversation like that. Like, that's it. You know how normally we blame our exes for the heartbreaking stuff that we deal with? We got to be honest with ourselves. If you can't blame somebody else for for the issues whenever you knew what the issues were, and you continuously try to put up with it. There comes a time I'm like, I can't blame them anymore. I'm like, I could have easily walked away. And that's what I be telling myself now. When you can red flags, leave it alone.
Boy.
Okay. So we talked about this yesterday. Matter of fact, I was the one that brought it up. All right. There's a myth that females are the only one that have intuition. And they don't understand and realize that we have it as well, right? Only thing is we function and operate in ours differently. You know what I'm saying? The same emotions and stuff is still there. It's just we always look at things from a logical standpoint. Will always be that way. You know.
Still a gut feeling.
We get them feelings. We know. For real.
And we all started out as female anyway.
Yeah. You know how it is, you know, you walk into a room and you just be like, man, some don't feel right. Some don't feel right whatsoever. Then next thing you know, you're like, you know what, let me get up out of here. And next thing you know, it was a shooting or something crazy done happened in that doggone room. And you you got up out of there. It ain't no different.
Hey, King. Remember we used to play basketball at Larry House?
Yeah.
All right, remember Paul?
Yeah.
Okay, you remember what happened to Paul, right?
Yep, I sure do.
Got into an argument at the basketball court, talking crap, he got shot, right? I remember when I was playing basketball out in Churchland, and you know, I was pretty much I was balling, you know what I'm saying? I was being physical, aggressive, and cats out there was starting to get real mad. And then two other cats start arguing, and something didn't feel right. And I was like, man, I need to get out of here. In the middle of the game, like we running back on defense, I ran off the court and I went on home. Man, I got that like a mile down the road. I don't know what happened, but all I heard was bow, bow, bow. And they were arguing. The dude said he was going to go get his gun. So when he said he was going to go get his gun, I was just like, look, man, clear it, Chief. And that is an example of it. I mean, I'm a man, but I had a gut feeling. And we have gut feelings in relationships too. It's just sometimes we so hard-headed, man, and we think we can make zebras change their stripes or leopards change their spots, and we can't. What we see is what we get. If somebody is advertising something to you, man, that's who they really, man, take it for what it's worth, man. Even if you're wrong, you still walk away unscathed. But, man, don't try to prove to be right about it, man, because if that person got some issues, I'm telling you right now, man, I listened to my ex on the phone with her mother plotting to kill me. And all of that could have been avoided from all of the signs that were there. I could have just went on about my life and avoided all that drama. So a lot of times we are where we are because of the decisions that we made. And just like Dee said, it ain't nobody to really blame except ourselves when we end up in these situations that we end up in.
Yep. So what do we do with potential? And what I mean by that is like, I know when I first met the wifey, right, we did a lot of talking, a lot of situational talking, which was different from the starts of all my previous relationships, you know. And I saw a lot of potential, a lot of greatness in her, you know, and it matched what I saw and felt in myself, right? So when we do come across someone, right, that has a lot of potential, 'cause it's a lot of that out there. There's a lot of us on both sides, a lot of men with great potential or whatnot. They just waiting on that one doggone break. And it's the exact same thing with our ladies as well. So that's my question to the panel. You know what I'm saying? How can we effectively handle potential? Because what's being taught right now is that if you ain't got it, leave it alone.
Let me add
It's a delicate. Go ahead.
Hold on. I'm gonna add to this because this was actually going to be one of my questions too last week. But once again, very much think alike. So outside of potential, what at what age do we stop entertaining potential?
Okay.
Say that again.
He said, at what age do we stop looking at potential?
Okay. Yes, yeah, there you go.
I think it's different for men than it is for women, unfortunately. Okay. Everybody want to live in this world where if everything is all fair. Women have a biological clock. You don't hear that about men. So, you know, if a man messes up, you know, unfortunately for the ladies, he can dust himself off at 20, 30, 40, 50, as long as he's got what he needs to have in the dating market, he's going to be good, because a man can produce darn near any age. But for women, they racing against their youth. So that's why I think women mature faster than men do, because women, they have to be so focused on making sure that they where they are, because most of the time men don't really hit their financial peak until they, 45 years old, okay, or older, because he's still trying to figure it out. I remember when I was in my 20s, oh my God, boy, if my hair was laying the wrong way, I was ready to quit a job. I was just not focused at all. I just could not get it together. I didn't, I was trying to find myself, and it was just like, it wasn't until I was, hit my stride in my 30s. Now that's just me. That's somebody else different. A lot of you guys who went into the military, you guys were made to be in shape. Okay. But that's for somebody like me. That wasn't the case. Once I left school and I had that structure with football, I didn't have that structure to be able to do that. So I would say the original question is, which is, when is it too late? Or when should they start focusing? Whatever the present time is, if you can gain consciousness of what's going on, you should be focused. I mean, if you can be focused at 18, be focused at 18, but it really depends on what kind of leadership you have around you too.
What's your thoughts, Chris, man? You've been over there real quiet. Yeah, give us some of that wisdom that's in that head of yours.
I was waiting because I wanted to hear the question again, because a lot of times it gets.
Instead of a question, I give you an example. Like what Ron was saying, I be seeing on Facebook, there's a lot of women that be talking about, I don't want to wait for a man to get his finances together or get a house, or etc. He got to have all this stuff already before he approached me. I'm like, wait a minute, the man turned 21 yesterday. I'm like, this ain't 1943 where a man can have all this at the age of 14 already before, he take him into the house. But it's like a lot of women be so caught up into the reality television shows and stuff of that nature, and they expect for a man to be making to have any kids. He ain't supposed to have no mental issues, emotional issues, and all that type of stuff. I'm like, you who you looking for? It's like you trying to date God at the end of the day. I'm like, make it make sense. I'm like, it's like a man got to be perfect.
Well, I'll say this. She has every right to say that. But
True, I feel
leave
on
the
that.
man alone. If that was that was the standard for women across the board, leave men alone from the age of 17 to 28 and let them build themselves. And men, focus on yourself. Build yourself. And that's just on the personal building aspect, because that doesn't mean you can't interact with them. But change if you don't want anybody to come to you in that facet until they're built, don't present them with anything that requires them to do anything for you. It should be as much as a mutual friendship all the way through up to that age. Because the man that you're looking for to be at that point needs that focus and that time. Now, if you're that perfect friend that's not doing anything that's going to take from that man, where you're not a liability, but more of an asset, that man is going to be watching you the whole time. And if you actually are the woman that he needs you to be, which should be the first question, because if that's your standard, then find out the man's standard, because he wants a woman, a wife, somebody that's agreeable, somebody that isn't argumentative, and somebody that'll support and help build. If you fit that mold, work in that while you work on yourself. Make sure that you have something to bring to this man, because that's your standard. That man has a higher standard once he achieves those goals.
You almost dropped off a whole generation with those. For real, a whole generation. All right, Trell, what's your thoughts, man? Take yourself off mute. What should we do with potential, and when we see potential in a person, and what age should we stop looking at considering a person's potential?
Y'all put me on the spot, and I'm not gonna lie, because my girl right now has been listening to the whole conversation, and I want to know. And so, she was sitting there agreeing with everything like Taylor was saying, So
I know a lot of girls that's like that. They're like, "Oh, that's my friend," but you take it from this guy. But
Put the camera on her. Let her be heard. Put the camera on her. Let her be heard.
Put the camera on her.
Oh, that's all.
So I mean, and that's what she was saying. You gotta, if you're gonna be that potential person, you want to make sure that he's that potential person. And that was the thing for me, because you shouldn't, like we talked about yesterday, when God presented Eve to Adam had everything already. Adam had everything already. So he was already financially there. He was working. He had that relationship with his father, his spiritual guide. He was well-rounded. So for me, I would say it's not at a particular age, because, because sometimes you won't know what age you're right for, because sometimes even for me, I didn't know till honestly I didn't know till I was older, and that was the thing for me, because I was out here at 17, 18. Let's be honest. I mean, 19, 20. We not thinking about trying to get our life together. You talking about what can I get? What can I hit? I'm just trying to get something and see where I'm at. It's not till we get maybe 25, 30 when we start looking at going, I got to get my life together, And so at that time, we like, okay, let's get it together. Let's do it. Now, all that time has gone by. So, we need to learn at that early age, focus on me. Let me do me. Let me get my life together. Let me, and for her, when you start looking for potential, you want to look at what she can, like what she said, what can she bring to the table for me?
Is she gonna be that one that's gonna support me when I'm down? Is she gonna be the one that's gonna help me, you know, when I don't have? Can you build my potential as well as my ego? Because as me and Lamar was talking last night, you know, honestly, when we look at things, the reason why some men act the way they do is because of their ego. If we don't have our ego supported, or if we don't have our ego stroked, then we don't really, you know, we're not thinking about nothing else. You know, so we're looking for, you know, how can I do right by me first? So, and that's what, you know, when you want to look for potential, you want to look for that woman that's going to potentially be there for you to help build you. But yet, like we said last week, also be my coach, as Lamar said, you know, because we want that coach sometimes. We want that somebody that's going to be like, hey, you know, get out there and do this, get out there and do that. So we know we need that sometimes.
All right. So Lamar, welcome, brother. I'm gonna catch you up to speed real quick. Right now, the question on the table is, at what point do we, what do we do with potential when we see potential in a woman, right? How do we handle that potential? And then D drop the side B, which is at what point do we, at what age, or at what point do we stop looking at the potential in a person?
Mute.
Check. Am I coming in clear?
Turn up a little
Coming
bit.
in clear, you need to turn it up though.
All right. I'm still low.
Decent.
Yeah, you're decent.
Oh, dang. Everybody ain't got the kind of equipment Taylor got.
Talking about you
Yeah,
got
we hear you real good right now.
Okay. What's up, Lee? What's up, everybody? Ooh.
Bosses Los.
So, y'all forgive me. The question was what now? What do we do with potential?
Yeah, when we see potential in a woman or whatnot, how should we handle that? And at what age should we stop looking at potential?
That's a tough one right there, bro. That's a tough one right there.
That's what we here for.
Jesus Christ.
Hold up, why I get the scenario? I want the question.
First of all, shit, you know, a lot of men are intimidated by it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're intimidated by potential, especially if they ain't where they need to be or doing anything that they need to be doing to get to a certain level. Man, I really don't know how to answer that, bro. And as far as, you know, well, y'all got me on that one. I always come in at the hard parts when we can't talk about something related to sports or something. God, I mean, is my Redskins gonna draft a quarterback this week? I mean, can we lighten it up a little bit?
I got you. I ain't went yet either. So, what's good?
I got it. What's good? So Lamar, so I've been on your personal situation, what, about 16 years now, something like that? No, not as long.
D, I can't hear you.
15. Anyway, I remember when you I first met you was working on not Brown Honda, Ford.
I'm having a hard time making out what he's saying.
Trying to stay lock low.
Hey, D.
He was also doing sound security too, something like that. Well, what do you want to call it? Anyway, I'm say this. I remember that y'all was having a hard time. You know, you basically had a lot of financial issues. Some of this damn reception is pitiful. Long. Can y'all hear?
Can you try calling in?
No, he's streaming live, so off his phone, so that's the reason why he's using this.
Okay.
So,
right.
You know, we'll give him a chance to get back together. Or now, hold on 1 second. I'm grabbing something to drink.
All right. Let me say this while everybody taking a little quick recess. I would say, you know, when I used to, and I'm just going off my experience. Every year at top schools, they recruit the best talent with the best potential. And all of those potentials are not realized. So what happens is with potential, sometimes it is realized and sometimes it's not. You just have to have, in terms of a timeline, you just have to have a reasonable expectation based on what you expect of progression from the woman or a woman from a man. A reasonable expectation. So if you see potential into somebody or whatever the case may be, that's okay if they're not where they need to be. But you need to probably do, like, you remember how you used to get progress reports in school? Maybe you need to do a 6-month evaluation. Maybe you need to do a 6-month evaluation of where this person was and where this person is. Because a lot of times we get caught up in relationships that we've been in for, and I've been guilty of it. Been in relationships for years, half a decade, not a commitment made. No, it doesn't look like it's going anywhere, but you still hanging around because you think the potential is going to be realized. Most men know when they want to marry a woman, if they want to marry a woman or not, in the first year. If he focused, he know within the first year what this person is going to be for him. Just like you hear, a woman knows what she wants from a man the minute she starts sizing them up, right? But men, they generally know within the first 6 months to a year what their expectation is. And if their expectation is not a long-term expectation and they're supposed to be focused on being intentional with their dating, then they need to go ahead and sum it up and move on. Because the longer you drive that thing and longer you go, the more somebody's going to get hurt. And everybody doesn't respond to hurt that well. Thin line between love and hate. Know what I'm talking about? So we got to make sure that we are intentional about everything. It's okay to move a little slow. I'm not even into the whole, I don't like that 90-day rule stuff or whatever the case may be. I'm not going to get into that. But what I'm saying is, us men, we got to be intentional where we sticking it too, if you know what I mean. So, because if we sticking it in the wrong place and we get caught up in some drama that we don't want no parts of or whatever the case may be, then you end up like me and you end up trying to shake something for 20 years and it follows you in other relationships and things of that nature. Then a potential person comes along and this person is the one, but you got so much crap going on because you done stuck it to somebody you ain't had no business sticking it to. And that person is making your life pure hell. And then this person just like, you know what? You're a great guy. I like you, but man, I gotta go. Because you got a bunch of issues in your life and you ain't ready for something like that. So we got to be very, very careful. We got to be precise and we got to know what we're doing, because I'm telling you, it's very important to try to make sure that you find a compatible partner, because, you know, like Neo said, a man is good all by himself, but with a good woman, he like a force. So that's why we have to make sure that we have a reasonable timeline, 6 months to a year, and then a progress report every 6 months, just basically evaluating yourself, how you develop, evaluating the other person and how they're developing. Because if they ain't growing, if they not growing, they ain't, you know, if they ain't moving, they ain't growing.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this, right? And low key, I'm gonna play devil's advocate just a tad bit. for me, I agree with the whole timeline as far as potential. But when you look at it, right, the first question you need to ask yourself is, am I willing to make this investment? Because really, that's what it is. You invest in effort, and more importantly, you invest in time. So we're looking at potential. That's the first thing that me personally, I'm going to ask myself. Are you worth my time? Because I'm not about to invest 2-3 years on potential and nothing this dog gonna realize. Just not. Just like. But on the flip side is this, right? There is something powerful about having somebody grind it out with you. I'm talking about when you down in the mud and you trying to get out of it, and you got somebody right there by your side, pushing, motivating, and everything else. For me, that shows a lot of value. Because like I said, you just never know what's going to happen. Nobody thought COVID was going to hit us like it did last year. You got a lot of people that was making a whole lot of money that all of a sudden went shoop, just like that. I need to know that when things get tough, you're going to be right there with me, toughing it out. Literally. I don't need that, oh man, I already have it. It's already laid out for you, baby. It's good. You good. We got this big old house over here. We got these cars and stuff already. Come on in. Then next thing you know, or now something like what happened last year, and technically what's going on right now happens, and we get to struggle. Now you ready to go. You feel me? I need to know.
I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you, King. Here's what I'm saying, though. Let's take that situation. Let's take 5 years ago, a man meets a woman, and there has to be some semblance of proving, okay? Because it's all faith-based when you are first entering into it, right? But if that person has progressed, let's just say this person say, hey, look, this man laid out this vision. He said, hey, look, this is where we're going. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. It's up to her to see if he is progressing along. If she can see that he's progressing along, and then something that is out of the control of his, like COVID-19 comes along and he starts struggling, hell yeah, she should stick with him. She would stick with him wholeheartedly at that point. But if up to that point it's always been excuse after excuse after excuse, then that's something totally different. So if a man is progressing and doing his thing, because you know what, at some point a man is going to fall off his rocker, whether it's a hard fall, a tall fall, or a small fall. A man is going to slip sometime. Okay, that's just human nature. But if a man has proven that he can progress under reasonable circumstances or whatever the case may be that everybody is facing, and when I say reasonable, everybody's in the same boat, relatively. If a man can show that he's reasonably progressing, yes, she should stick with him, and vice versa. A man should stick with her too. She might be going through something. She might have cancer, or she might be going through a health crisis or whatever the case may be. But if she's shown you the potential and she's been there by your side and she's been your rock or whatever the case may be, hell yeah, you're supposed to cleave to her. I remember when I got sick real bad and I was pretty much out of commission for like 8 weeks. Right before I got sick, me and my wife, we were going through some things, and we were really questioning the totality of the relationship at that particular time. But we've had a history as well and progression as well. And when those circumstances came together, It's like what the Most High put together, let no man put asunder. That situation brought us closer when it should have torn us apart. But it was because we had history of progression on both parts to make us say, you know what, I'm staying, and leaving ain't an option.
I hear you. But the key word in that is should. They should. But that's not always what reality is. Not all. I mean, we see it all the time. We see it all the time.
Then it's the signs you got to pay. It's the signs you got to pay attention to. I mean, the signs are early. The signs early on. I remember when I was in college. My ex-wife. Okay, look, the signs were there. If you didn't play football, she did not date you. That should have been a sign right there. I mean, even rest in peace, Will Smith. Okay, he told me. He said, "Hey man, listen. That girl is not somebody that you want to marry. That girl is somebody that is, you know, she for the streets." He didn't say it that way, but, you know, he was telling me that. And I mean, I couldn't really receive it. My ego wouldn't allow me to receive it. But he was talking to me like a brother. We was on the same team. He was like, "Look, man, I want you to go out there and get all you can get. I'm trying to go out there and get all I can get, man. I'm telling you from experience, man." And sometimes we don't want to listen to the advice because it's got to come in a certain form or it's got to come from a certain person instead of just taking the information that we get and just praying over it. And I didn't even pray over that situation. I just, I ain't listening to that. So the signs were already there. She used to even tell me, she would just be like, man, if you didn't play football, I wouldn't talk to you. And I mean, I ignored the signs. So we just got to pay attention to the signs. We just got to pay attention to the signs because they are there.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
I think some timelines are kind of long though, because honestly, a man can recognize a woman upon first seeing her. It doesn't take months. It doesn't take weeks. Barely takes days. Immediately. Let's take Lamar's wife, for example. If you watch her in the house and how she interacts with him just for a few hours out of the day, that will be the standard right there as far as a woman. And that's just the character and the persona. Now, physically, yes, she's beautiful. I remember when she came down to, when we were at AIT, when she came down the sidewalk, everybody's eyes was on her. When they found out, man, damn, that's your wife? Yeah, man.
Look at Lamar right now, over there just swelling.
But she exudes femininity. She supports her husband. She's loving. She does everything she can. That man ain't got to worry about nothing. That's a woman.
That's why I said what I said, bro. You know, the shit that I did. And
you see something like that in the club or anywhere. If you see it at a club, you're going to feel like she out of place. But you see that, you know that's a woman. Everything in the room going to be going out there because how she carries herself. And that's just in maybe an hour's time of just interaction. We know what's trifling when we see it. We do. We know who we can run game on, how to run it, what needs to be said. We need maybe a good 30 seconds of just watching somebody move and talk, and we know exactly what approach we need. We know every red flag. A woman to think, I can change him. A man to think, I can tolerate her. That's how we look at red flags.
Cool. You said a lot with that one. I can tolerate.
Yes, he did.
what?
But that's the red flags. That's how we mess ourselves up because we know what we want. We know when we see it. We know what a man is. We know what a woman is. We see them red flags is, I can change him. I can tolerate her.
Why do we do that, man? Why do we do that?
Captain Save a girl.
Man, listen. No.
I'm gonna say, and this is the honest to God truth. I'm gonna say that it has to do with our view of our personal self-worth. Our view
Facts.
of our personal self-worth. Because like you were saying earlier, Lamar, you were saying that, you know, there's a lot of men when they see women with potential, whatnot, they nervous, they afraid. You know, that dude that's out there come across that lady that's making six figures and he a janitor some doggone well most times, he not gonna approach her. He just not. You know, so you know, we have a tendency of looking at ourselves and being like, I ain't worthy.
I don't measure up type deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what though? I and I'm gonna play devil's advocate too. I partially agree with that, King, because when a man is secure in himself, he don't care what a woman makes. Like her income is ill. Right. And so a man that is intimidated by that, it's just like you said, it's a reflection on himself. It's just like when somebody hating on you, it's just a reflection of dislike and displeasure that they have on themselves. They can't be happy for you because they know they're not handling their business and doing what they're supposed to do. Well, it's the same thing with that woman. It's like, if that woman got it going on, bang, boom, pow, head to toe, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, she got a career and all that other stuff like that. Most men are looking for most men who are confident and sure in themselves, no matter what career they're in, they're looking for a helpmate. And a helpmate ain't got nothing to do with money. She got money, that's icing on the cake. But just like if you're a Bible reader, just like in Proverbs chapter 31, verse 10 on down, it tells you about this type of woman. This type of woman, this virtuous woman, she can be with any kind of man and she can extract greatness out of him. Because behind every strong man is a stronger woman. Okay, so the job and the career, the $100,000 a year, or whatever the case may be, to a man who's secure in himself, whether he makes an average wage or whether he makes an elite wage, like he don't really care about her income, because most men, like if it was up to us men, we would live in huts and we would dress barbarically. But the reason that we have houses and the nice things that we have, or whatever the case may be, is because our wives make it a home. So I don't want to go too far off of that, but you know, that was just kind of my thoughts on
that. I agree, especially that last part. You know what I'm saying? Because when I go out of town and things of that particular nature, I don't have to stay in the best hotel. For real. That hotel is to lay my head down. That is it. As long as you ain't got no bed bugs, roaches, or anything of that particular nature, guess what? I'll stay there.
Yep.
I will stay there as long as I can lay my head down. You know, now,
and that's why earlier when you were talking about women, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, finish. I was done.
No, but that's why earlier when we were talking about going back and talking to ourselves, and Dee said focus on the money. It's because that's what the dating market says. The dating market says a woman wants a man that's got resources. So go ahead and get your resources
That's personal time.
And personal time. Yeah, just developing yourself, finding out what you're good at, finding out what you're not good at. A lot of times we choose the wrong women to be with because we don't know what we're good at and we don't know what we're not good at. We'll tell ourselves, man, I know I'm good at that. I can handle that. But you haven't really found out what you could do until the rubber meets the road. So take some time, take just a little bit of time and just try to figure out what you're good at and what you're not good at. Then when you say, oh, these are the areas I'm not good at, then when you start dating a woman or whatever the case may be, and you're asking these questions, you talked about that, the current relationship, you know, not the current, but your wife, King, you and your wife did something different than other relationships. Y'all had a lot of critical thinking. Y'all had a lot of scenarios y'all play against each other. You don't know the scenarios to play against each other unless you go out there and kind of bump your head a couple of times on your own. So I think it's important to make sure that you understand what you're good at, what you ain't good at, and find somebody that can complement you and be strong when you're weak.
Okay, so I'm gonna press the rewind button real quick, and we're gonna go back to last week. We're gonna go back to last week. Last week we was talking about a truce, right? Because the ultimate goal is to put a stop and end to the Cold War that's been going on between men and women. And when we talk about peace treaties and things of that particular nature, normally before that peace treaty is signed, there's a truce that is made. There's a truce that is made, and everybody basically, the war stops temporarily. We separate. Each side figure out exactly what it is that they need. Then they come back to the table and we negotiate. All right. So what I was trying to do last week was start that. All right. I want to look at, as far as us men, I'm not talking about us as individuals. I'm talking about the 6 men that are up here right now or whatnot. We start the conversation for the men. You know, we call them the truce right now. Hey, look, let's put the swords down or whatnot. Put the guns down. Put everything to the side. Ladies, we want y'all to go over to the right-hand side, figure out what it is that y'all need from us. Fellas, we going over here to the left-hand side. We're going to figure out what it is that we need from y'all. What it is that we need, what it is that we are willing to compromise on, and what it is that we are willing to just simply let go. All right, so literally, that's what it is. Let's start putting the list together of what we need culturally, not just individual, but as a culture, what we need from our women, what it is that we're willing to compromise with, and then what it is that we just simply will let go. Just simply let go. Can we have that conversation?
Okay, yes. Go ahead. You go first, King.
I always go first. I'm going last this whole episode. This whole episode is going last. For real.
Well, Lamar, why don't you go, man? You got real good insight. I just got a sense you're gonna give us something real good, man. Just tell us because you're experienced in this arena. Tell us what you want.
No, we speaking for all men.
Okay.
For
all right.
All men. Let's set the baseline. The baseline.
I'm going second to last.
We're gonna set the foundation, and then individually everybody can build from there.
Okay. I know for a fact, personally, there's a lot of brothers that I talk to on a consistent basis that say they want closure. They want closure. They've gone through certain situations in their relationships, and they go to bed night after night not having that peace of mind of knowing that this is where they belong, if that makes sense. And the only way they can get that answer answered is by having that dialogue with their spouse or their girlfriend, their wife. You know, they're lacking closure. I know for me personally, that was one of the things that I had suffered with, was just not having closure. And we touched on it on the last show. But what I would say to the men is, be careful what you ask for. Because if you are not in position, or if you are not in place for that answer, it could be detrimental. It could really mess you up. A lot of men ain't ready for the closure that they think that they want. A lot of men ain't ready for the answers that, you know, they think they want to hear. They're not in position. They're not ready. So my advice to them would be, you better be lined up, and you better be in position. You better be in place, because when that answer do come out, it ain't on her after that, because you asked for it. You asked for it. So I think that's I'm gonna stop right there, because I know me, I wanna go to other places on it, but for the sake of the show and for the sake of time, I'm gonna just stop right there and pass the mic to somebody else. But mine will be closure.
So that's, you feel like you saying that all men need closure from women?
Not just from women, they from all sources, bro. From all sources. You got men out here that need closure from shit that happened while they was a child, dealing with their parents. You know, it could be anything. You know, it's kind of hard to speak for a lot of other men when I know for myself, I wanted to close the chapter on so many different things in my life, and I just hadn't been able to do it. So I have to live with those demons. I got to live with those ghosts, and I got tired of it. It was hard for me to push forward in my life because I'm too busy trying to find answers and trying to get closure on something that happened 10, 15 years ago. How can I move forward if I don't have those chapters closed? Then pride, for me, pride set in. I don't want to say nothing to nobody else. I don't want to bring it up to my partners or nothing like that. Because for one, I always felt like, man, y'all got y'all own demons that y'all dealing with. Y'all got y'all own struggles that y'all dealing with. And as a result of that, by me not having an outlet, by me not expressing what was going on, it got to the point where I felt like I was alone. I couldn't go and talk to nobody. I didn't have nowhere to go. I ain't had nowhere to turn. Then the depression, the anxiety, the panic attack started to kick in real bad. And that's when I found myself getting in and out of trouble. You know, Taylor, you was with me one time I got locked up. Trail, you was with me one time I got locked up. You know, just about everybody on this call has been with me every time I done did something and got in trouble. Now, I don't know, man. That's a hard one for me, bro.
Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, all right, before we can move forward with figuring out exactly what it is that we need on a overall scale with our women, you know, we need to address the healing that needs to take place with our men. Not a problem. Not a problem. I see it. I can see that. And we can work with that. We definitely can. So we done talked about it a lot since we started this thing in reference to men having emotions, basically the same emotions that women have, you know, we have as well. What we do not have is the platform. We don't have the platform. What I mean by that is that it is not a social or a cultural, I don't want to say culture, no, that's the wrong word, but it's not a social norm for us to be able to truly express how we feel without uh, appearing to be something that we are not. So, in all honesty, I feel like the narrative has to be changed. We got to change the narrative uh, on a lot of this stuff. On a lot of this stuff, because everything that you just described, in essence, if you would have had an outlet to be able to express your emotions, the dumb stuff that you were doing in order to get yourself in trouble would have not taken place. And I believe everybody on this panel has been through that situation before. And not just us, but all of us. All of us. Lee, you got your hand up in the panel. What's up, man?
No, go ahead and finish your thought, and then I'll add my 2 cents on your question.
Okay, so that's something that needs to be addressed. That's something that needs to be addressed. You know, because quite frankly,
I have somebody to talk to, man. You know, let me bounce this off for you. You know, I'm going through this. Let me bounce this off for you. You know, I've been thinking about this, or this happened, or that happened. I can't figure out X, Y, Z. You know, it sucks feeling like you alone.
Yeah.
It sucks when you feel like there's nowhere to turn. You don't have nobody to depend on when you want to just pour your heart out. I'm gonna just keep it a bang with y'all. Sometimes I just really want to cry. You feel me? I just want to break down and just let all that shit out. Right. I just want to let it go. You understand what I'm saying? I just want to fucking just ball out and just cry my eyes out, man. But I can't. And God forbid somebody see me in a vulnerable state like that. Now I done open myself up. Now that's weakness right there. Say it again.
That is the narrative. That is the narrative that needs to be changed. The fact that we feel like we can't, or we will be deemed weak, is the narrative that needs to be changed. And quite frankly, our ladies can't do it for us. It's the men. We have to change that narrative amongst ourselves. There's no reason that you being my brother, right? You being my brother, if you in a difficult spot, right? Not just talking about, I'm talking about in an emotional standpoint. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to pick up the phone, drive to my house if I was still living there, or whatever is needed in that moment. There is no reason why me being your brother, you shouldn't be able to call me and have an emotional moment and not feel judged or anything of that particular nature. I'm gonna give you an example, right? And I'm not gonna use no names or anything of that particular nature, right? But I had a friend of mine. Nope, I'm not gonna use that example. Which one can I doggone use? Prefer to use myself. Prefer to use myself. It's no different than what I talked about yesterday with my son, right? And I talked about it in the book, how he had lost that national championship that he shouldn't have lost, and I was pissed. Took that joker outside to have a daddy moment, you know what I'm saying? Try and calm myself down, figure out what's going on with him from an emotional standpoint. And I'm seeing this joker trying to hold the tears in, not cry, trying to suck it up. Well, now all that stuff, you know what I'm saying, that we put into our kids to doggone do, especially our boys. And I can tell it's eating him up. But the moment I told him to let it out, I'm telling you, that joker let out a wail that I know it shook the heavens. Cause that junk, it shook my soul. And I was right there crying like a little kid with that joker. And what I realized is that we haven't been given that permission as men. And sorry, ladies, it can't come from y'all. It has to come from another man. And that man has to be someone that we respect, whose words have value and meaning in our lives. So I'm gonna tell every last one of y'all, everybody that let me turn my camera on, or not that way y'all can see my face. Everybody that's on this panel, any men that are connected to me, if you have one of them moments and you need to talk, I'm available. You can break down, you do whatever it is that you need to. My shoulder is here. It is here. And I'm not going to look at you no different. If anything, I'm going to hold you in a high regard. Because we need and we have to. We're going to break this narrative. We got to. Because I'm the exact same way. I have those moments and stuff too. I'm telling you. Well, I just need somebody that I'm going to talk to. And of course, yes, the wife is right here. But every now and then, I need somebody that's going to understand me. Understand that male perspective. Exactly what it is that I'm actually going through, so that the pain that's being felt, the hurt that's being felt, whatever is being felt in that particular moment, they know exactly what it is that I'm going through. It ain't no different than with y'all ladies or not, you being a mama, and that moment that your daughter's doggone cycle first comes on. Me being a father, I can't understand it the way. It ain't no different. We need that on both sides. And I ain't gonna lie to you, ladies, low key, I'm jealous. I sure am. Hate to say it that way, but it's the truth. I am. Because y'all got that connection. And I'm telling you, we want it. We want it with our brothers, and we want it with y'all. And I go so far to say we need it. We just do. My bad. I'm gonna jump off my soapbox. And anybody else that wants to say anything can go ahead. Go ahead. Man, go ahead. You good? You ain't gotta raise your hand. Go ahead, jump on in there. Let's go.
No, we got some fellas with some wisdom up here that hadn't said much, and I wanted to know if they had anything they wanted to say.
Yeah, we talking about y'all too. Real, Chris, D.
Hey, okay, I'll say this. I don't have my thoughts together. It sounds like I'm running. Forget it. But Lamar, you have done. There has been times. You remember when I stayed in the shoe when I had totaled my car. You vented me, and you used to tell me that although I was the baby out of the bunch, you was kind of being motivated to try to get your stuff together. I remember you had came to me, you had told me, I'm like, damn, I'm up here, I'm in the house feeling sorry for myself, all this type of stuff, and you out here, you done total your vehicle, got you another one, got you 2 jobs and all this stuff, making moves, and here I am. But I'm saying all that to say, there's been plenty of times that wrong has hit me up in the middle of the night, just to vent. Like I said, Lamar's done it. There's been a whole lot of other people that done it. I've even done it. But trust me, I definitely understand your pain, Lamar. Whenever you say that sometimes it just felt like that you just being alone, like who can you talk to or whatever. But that's the best feeling in the world when somebody actually says, all right, you can call me, it don't matter what time. It could be in the middle of the night, just call me. Cause you got some people that don't have that. And depression is real. It don't even that's a big stigma in the Black community that we don't want to address on a regular basis. But that depression will literally kill you, man, if you don't have an outlet or somebody to talk to.
So D, so based on what you're saying and what Lamar and King is saying, when we are separated, the very first thing that we need to do is we need to work on ourselves, and we work on ourselves by an interdependency on another brother. And I think it's impossible to get everybody united right now because we got some issues to work through. But if everybody can look at us and take us as an example, it's not a lot of us here, right? And it's more of us, but it's not a lot of us here. But just this session right here is something I can tell you each and every one of us look forward to each and every time we have it, because each and every time we have it, we take something away from it that helps us to become more victorious in our lives. We need to be able to have, and we need to restructure, we need to break down, and we need to build back up the structure of relationships that we need to have with men, the appropriate relationships that we need to have with men. I'm talking about the type of relationships where we can say, without somebody thinking you're funny, you know, brother, I love you. And sometimes you'll hear that when we leave the show, we'll say, I love you guys, or something like that. You got to be able to say, I love you to a man and not be on some funny stuff, but be on some like brotherly type, appropriate relationship type stuff. Like, man, I really love you. Like, I love you. Like, I can't love.
I'm not gonna front. I struggle with that. And it ain't, and it's not for the fact that I ain't got love for anybody that's on the chat or whatever, but it's for the fact that that's one of the biggest things that's a generational curse in my family. My family don't show love like that, and that's a generational curse that for some of y'all, well, no, that ain't my business, so I ain't gonna say that. That's just something whenever I pass on to my kids or my nieces or nephews, I want them to know that they are loved at the end of the day. But outside of that fatherly figure and all the type of stuff, I'm like, I definitely didn't get that. So whenever I hear another man tell me that they love me or whatever, or I got to say it back, it ain't the fact that I don't want to say it back. It's the fact that I'm like, that's a weird spot for me, man. It's weird.
It's gonna stay being weird, boy. Cause get what? I love you, D.
We love you,
Love you
D.
from the
Exactly.
bottom of my
Yeah,
heart,
yeah,
baby.
we love you.
I love you.
Yeah.
We
I
love
love
bro.
you. I die behind your little ass. You hear me? I done already
That's
told
right.
you that. We not had that conversation. This 18 shit is on. I'm telling
We're
you,
gonna help you break this.
yeah, we're gonna break that.
That's right. That's right.
We're gonna break
Break them. Yeah, but that's what we gotta do. But that's what we gotta do. And you know what? I know we can't focus on the ladies, and I'm gonna focus on. But we have to break from the ladies as a people. The men have to break from the ladies, and they have to, in order to form a treaty and a truce. The men have to also have it. They also have to make a truce with each other. Look, you come to me, you tell me some stuff, I'm going to be like a citadel. Under no circumstances. Like, I'm not going to kill you. You done pissed me off today, and you make me want to get the heat. Like some old ignorant stuff. But you know what? I'm going to tell you right now. It's too many cops in the street killing us. It's too many there's too many government entities trying to come at us. So you know what? Ain't nobody got our back. Nobody got our back. So I'm making a truce to you. And it's not based on what you say. It's a stance that I'm taking. It's a covenant commitment that I'm making to you that, look, man, I ain't raising my gun up or a weapon up to you, period. Like, you piss me off. You might not be important to me, but you important to somebody else. You important to somebody else. You might not be important to me. I don't know you right now. You done pissed me off and you talking out of your mouth sideways. But you know what? I'm going to make a truce that I'm not going to kill you. If I got so much of a problem with you, then I'm going to use these. If that's what we have to do, if that's what we absolutely have to do, then I'm going to use these. And whatever circumstances we got to do, let's talk about it first. If we can't talk about it, and you want to take it here, we're not going to take it here. We're going to take it here because we live another day. We live another day. And I remember my brothers used to telling us, one time my brother ran in the house, Mama, they chasing me. She said, carry your ass right back outside, and you better not come in the house unless you win. Right? And they went out there and they went blow for blow and they fought. And you know what happens when men fight the right way? A respect level can emerge. Sometimes that's all you can do. But when you shoot somebody and you kill somebody, there is nothing to gain from that. There is no respect to gain from that. And we already got all these entities. So that's why I'm telling you, guys, anybody that's listening to this, ladies, gentlemen, you see what we're doing right here. We are a bunch of men that we have flaws. We working through issues, but we're leaning on each other. And all you need to do, look, the Bible says, where two or more gather, so is he. So all we need to do is we need to make a truce with ourselves. Before we even deal with the ladies and make a truce with them, we need to make a truce with ourselves as men and how we're going to care for one another and treat each other and pick each other up, just like what we're doing. And you see how we piling on D right now, but we're doing it in the right way. We're showing him, hey, look, you're gonna learn to take this love. You ain't got no choice. It might be uncomfortable for you. You might have had circumstances before, but time and time again, you're going to wake up and it's going to be like, you again? It's going to be just like that. And that's the pact that we need to make with each other as men.
All right, Chris, I seen you over there. You was dripping to say something. Go ahead, get it out.
Yeah, because I mean, from where D is coming from, I understand where it's coming from. I'm in the same place. It is so much easier for me. I can tell my cousins, my uncles, my daddy, grandfather, anybody else in my bloodline, I love them with ease, no problem. But when it comes to outside of that, you had to be in the trenches with me to get those words. It meant something different. It's easier for me to hear from a man that they love me than for me to say to another man that I love them. Because what do? We show it before we say it. We communicate through our actions more so than our words. So it's an uncomfortable place for us to say, I love you to another man, especially in the way that society is right now. It has been over-feminized, over-sexualized. So now you can't say I love you and mean that I have that phileo love, that brotherly love. everybody automatically thinks of that eros or that romantic type love. So you putting the rock in a hard place, but we sugarcoat and water it down to, yeah, my boy got loyalty. That's my dog. That's my ride or die. I got your back. I killed for you. That's how we normally say we love our brother. So yeah, it's hard to say it. That's one thing, like me, I practiced it so I can get comfortable saying it to the ones that I actually mean it to. But I ain't gonna say it to somebody that hasn't even proven to be worth my love. It's like, I have love for you, but it's not that phileo love. That's just that agape. It's unconditional, it's undeserving. Or agapao. One of the two. You get this love just because you are a man. And I mean mankind, man and woman. Just because you are the same makeup as me and I have respect for your life, that's the type of love you get from me. But that phileo, that's different. And for a woman, the eros is a whole lot different. So yeah, it's uncomfortable for a lot of men to say that right now, especially outside of their immediate blood circle or somebody that's been through the trenches that have had each other's back for the longest or went to war or somewhere where they needed that safety. So I can understand what D is like, but me, I'm practicing it. I'm practicing saying it until it becomes comfortable. But at the same time, there has to be a degree of knowledge of what these words mean. Because what is it, 6, 7 more words for love? You got phileo, agape, agapao, eros. It's different ones.
Yep.
One has a different meaning. We need to understand what these words mean before we use them, because we've been using them so loosely, especially men towards women.
I agree. I definitely agree with you there. But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this right here. There's power in our words. Power in our words, you know. And for some of us, it might be healing in those words. You feel me?
Right.
You know, that might just be what I need in that moment that could save my doggone life. Just think
Keep you
about
from
it. Think
doing
about,
something stupid.
yeah. I mean, think about how many people out here, you know, that commit suicide. If you there with that person in that moment and all they need to hear is "I love you" with meaning. But that's what I mean by we got to change the narrative. They stole that shit from us. There's no reason, you know what I'm saying, that it has to be viewed like that. Ain't no different than a rainbow. Rainbow is supposed to mean doggone the covenant between the Most High and all of mankind, showing that, you know what I'm saying,
They perverted the
it's
promise.
literally a covenant. Yeah, but you know, this is a part of us standing up. We as men need to stand up. Everything that was taken from us, we need to take that shit back. And everything that belongs to us that we haven't gotten yet, we need to go get that shit too. Be the example, you know, so that our women can doggone fall. I'm so serious. And don't get me wrong, trust and believe, I know or not, I have no issue with being able to tell my brother, any of my brothers, you know what I'm saying, that I love them, you know, because I do. You know what I'm saying? I do. What I struggle with, you know, or whatnot, is the actual physical contact. You know what I'm saying? As far as giving hugs and things of that particular nature. So I do it because I know it's hard. Or whatnot. I know it's hard from my end. So I do it, and I do it on a regular basis. I greet you with a hug, and I leave you with a hug. And really, it's just society here. It's just society here, because you take, for those of us that's been overseas, when I was in Kuwait, them jokers made me feel uncomfortable, venom up. But I had to get accustomed to it. I had to get accustomed to it, because this was them. This is what they did. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you had men literally greeting each other, kiss on one side cheek, kiss on the other side cheek, embracing with a strong ass doggone hug or nothing. Then you know, even when I talk, you know what I'm saying, to another man, that's a certain distance that needs to be met, especially if we face to face. Now you can stand to my side and we can talk and be close to me, but you can't be right here with me at all. You know what I'm saying? And this how these jokers is over there. They in your face. You know what I'm saying? They do it. It's out of respect. They trying to show you that, hey, you have my undivided attention. But I can have your undivided attention, you know what I'm saying, from back there. From back. You ain't gotta be right here with me. You know, for real, I'm just keeping it 100. You know, it's our society that has us like that. You know what I'm saying? Even over in Africa, when I was in Africa, it was the exact same way. And this is where our origins literally come from. And I was out in doggone Jordan or whatnot. It was the exact same thing. Exact same thing. And I was, like I said, they made me feel uncomfortable than the mug. Uncomfortable than a mug, you know, but we have to change. We have to change that narrative. There's a lot of narratives that we have to change. Period. Point blank. Jump off my soapbox. Somebody else can go. Terrell, you look like you had something to say. What's up?
Well, I'm gonna say for me, I mean, I know that when it comes to, you know, me saying I love you to anybody, you know, I'm there. I can do that part. I think we have to understand it's the covenant that we have together. Like you said before, that covenant, because covenant is a strong word, you know. And so with us as a team of men that we have that covenant. So it's easy for us to be like, yo, I got your back, you know, no matter what, because, you know, we've been through as a team a struggle. But for us to, you know, for a newcomer, you know, somebody that is really, you know, that's trying to, you know, you meet somebody on the street and he's like, yo, I'm going through something. And, you know, you want to be there for him and you want to tell him, look, I love you, I got you, no matter what. But, you know, like you said before, you got to build that rapport. You got to be with me in that struggle to understand where I'm at. You know, well, I can tell you what I'm going through, but sometimes, you know, when you're not there with me and to understand my struggle, to see where I've been through, to see, you know, where I've been through in my divorce, to be, you know, to just understand, you know, look, hey, I'm going through and I need an outlet. And sometimes, you know, as men, we don't get that outlet because, you know, we don't know how to come to somebody else and say, look, I'm weak right now. And I've got to have somebody to pour out to because I'm weak right now. And if I don't talk to somebody that's real and that's going to keep it real with me and let me know that, you know, they're there for me, you know, it could take me to a suicidal position. It could take me to, you know, something that I've got going on. So, you know, we have to know that that covenant with each other is there, you know, and we've got to know that, you know, to build it back, you know, as we come or as we raise our younger generation to show them that, you know, that covenant that we have as brothers, I am my brother's keeper. So I'm going to be there. I'm going to hold you accountable. You know, I'm going to, you know, in everything that we do, you know, like, and that's all the words that we just keep saying, accountability, the covenant. You know, we got to know that we're there for each other. We got to know that, you know, no matter what, I'm going to hold you accountable for what, you know, you asked me to hold you accountable for. When we can do that and say, look, no matter what, you asked me to do this. So this is what I'm going to do. Even though it's going to hurt you, I'm still going to hold you accountable. You know, so if I ask you to hold me accountable to something, I need you to dig in my behind on it.
You know, if you see me not doing it, hey, get back in line. You know, get back and doing this. Get back and, you know, do this, do that. You know, we got to hold each other responsible. We got to be able to say, you know what, hey, I see you falling off. I need you to step back in line. I need you to get back on it, you know, because that's what's going to keep us not only with each other, but with our relationships. Because we know that if we come together as a family like this, as men, we can be better for our women. Because we'll be able to say, you know what, and I think that's a lot of times that, you know, like you were saying, there's different types of loves. And so when we can come together as men and show that type of love, it'll be easier for it to show our women that we love them that way. You know, so we have to, as men, like you said, be accountable to each other, you know, be show that covenant to each other. And honestly, this is what the Most High wants us to do. He wants us to hold each other accountable. He wants, because that's the thing. Am I my brother's keeper? Not only in the good times, but am I my brother's keeper in the bad time? When I know he going through, or I know he may be doing wrong, hey, step back in line. Get back into it. You know, this is what we are. You know, as the A team, you know, this is what we are. We have two admirals, which started the whole thing, which is Lamar and Tay. And, you know, so when it came down to that, you know, there are hires as, you know, the team goes. You know, that's how I see it as, you know, for me. You know, that's why I call them my admirals, because they started this. So when they started this, it became, yo, I look up to them because they started this as a team. And we are the generals. You know, we come in under that, and we have to then go out and say, look, as the generals, we're going to be here for each other. We're going to show them love. We're going to show each other love. We're going to show each other what we can do with each other. So, and we do that not only as a family, but we do that financially, because Lord knows we've done it for each other financially. You know, we've done it for each other mentally and emotionally, and we give that love. So we know that we as a team, so we got to be able to say, you know what, no matter what you're going through, to somebody else just coming in, I got your back, and I'm not going to let you fall by the wayside. I'm going to keep you where you need to be. I'm not going to let you, look, if I got to grab you by the bootstraps, if I got to, you know, if I got to grab you by your collar, you coming with me. There's no more that crab mentality. It's going to be, I'm here for you. When I come up, I love it, because Lamar will always tell you, he says the same thing to me all the time. When I come up, you come up. So no matter what, when I come up, I've got to reach back and pull my brother up. So for everything that I'm in, if I go a higher level, I got to reach back and show you, hey, this is how I came up. This is what I did to come up. Not only am I going to show you how I came up, but I'm going to bring you with me. Because you can't show somebody without reaching back and bringing them with you. Yeah, you can bring somebody to the water and teach them how to fish, but sometimes you got to teach them and you got to bring them with you. Hey, look, come on up. And when you start to fall, or when you start to lose it, I'm going to step in and say, hey, I got you. Don't do that. Don't, you know, this is what you got to do. You know, this is the love that we have for each other, because I'm able to go in there and reach you and bring you with me and have that covenant with you.
All righty. So,
is that not what 18 stands for, man?
All the time.
yep, sure does.
Exactly what it stands for.
So, final thoughts before we break out of here.
I think Lee has something, bro.
Yep, go ahead.
No, let's stay. No, let's final thoughts. This will be my final thoughts. Let's stay in the flow. We have the answer right there. The way to love a woman is totally different than the way to love a man. The way to love a man is to give him respect. That is the only way a man will understand that he's receiving love from his guy friend, from his spouse, from his children. because we made in the image of the Most High. And in order to love the Most High, you have to respect him. Okay? So what I'd like to just close my closing thoughts would be, we need to, because everybody in different walks of life feels it. I mean, you know, D talk about that what he struggles with. Chris talks about what he's working on, but he struggled with, and King talks about facing his struggle head on and making himself do it. The uncomfortableness. You see what this westernized society is, some bull crap. Okay, it's got us all in some rubbish. So we got to. I know you heard this saying before. We have to unlearn and relearn. And what we got to do is we got to make a pact with each other, man, a covenant with each other. And then we have to show the world, we have to be an example to the world of what it looks like. And so we have to have a healthy balance of holding each other accountable, but picking each other up when we fall. We have to have whatever kind of barrel that we are in, so to speak. We have to bust the barrel down and stop being crabs in the barrel. And we have to start saying, hey, listen, we're getting killed in every which way. We're catching these cases in every which way. And we have so many different factions that's hitting us up and everything like that. And even if we got to do this in a splinter cell fashion, what we need to do is we need to make a pact to each other that, you know what? I'm doing this for you, not because I'm expecting anything in return from you. I'm doing this for you because these are the principles that I'm going to live and I'm going to die by. If I posted something the other day talking about, you know, don't wait for respect to be presented to you. Just give it where it's received. Give it where it's received and vacate where it's not reciprocated. Expect nothing from who's damaged, because brokenness is abound. So we got to understand we're dealing with the brokenness. I mean, even in the movie about Fred Hampton, he knew what his fate was going to be. He said in a speech. But it's just like, we have to be willing to be sacrifices for the struggle. As long as we sitting there saying, hey, I'll do this, but I ain't taking no L, we ain't going to get nowhere. There are going to be L's that have to be taken. Are you thinking about your damn self? Or are you thinking about your seed that's coming after you? What are we doing here? Because we may not be able to enter into the promised land, okay? But we definitely owe it to our seeds to get them into the promised land. Yes, let's strive to get into the promised land. But we understand Rome wasn't built in a day. And we understand that some of us are going to have to be sacrificed for the purpose of the whole thing. And we did not survive. All of the millions of sperm cells that didn't make it to the egg, we're already victorious because we made it to the egg. We're already victorious because so many fought to get here, and we're here. And it's very much so a purpose in this life, and we got to leave this place better than we left it. And we can't be thinking about how long we're going to live, what's going to happen to us, who's going to do what to us, or whatever the case may be. Look, it's just like the Bible said. Look, the Messiah said, hey, look, no fancy ends. You go in there, they don't want to receive the message and everything like that. Pack up your stuff and roll on. You just got to make sure that you are giving what you want to receive. Expect the reward from not man, but expect the reward from the rewarder, and just do the right damn thing.
All right.
He said something right there.
And Chris, you want to go ahead and give your final thoughts? And you go, Trell, and Dean and Lamar.
Yeah, I will be so glad when we get done with the female portion. Once we put out what it is that we need from them and what we expect from them, I'm so ready to attack these men, because it's after we put it out there on the table of what we want, the thing is we need to be in position to receive it. Because no man, I say this because this is how I am. I don't ask anybody for anything that I'm not prepared to receive or I'm not in position to answer to. I told my wife, I wanted the household to reflect Ephesians 5. And I said, my role, once you get past that verse 20, is far longer than yours. It requires far more responsibility, far more discipline, and far more knowing of self. Men need to learn respect. They need to get rid of the boastful pride and learn to give respect. This thing of your pride being hurt because you think somebody sunned you or made you look little, punked you out or whatever, get rid of that. That's some little boy stuff. I'm sick of that. The same stuff that I was hearing when you had this verses with Gucci and Jeezy. Get out those men's lives. Y'all want nothing but drama queens. Oh, somebody come after me, y'all. Shut up. You sound stupid. You sound stupid. Worry about your own life, your own problems. Correct yourself. Learn how to give respect and just do that. Man up. What you thought that meant, it's not what it is. Be a man. Take care of yourself first. Prepare yourself, because the same way that you take care of you is how you commanded to take care of your woman. To love your woman. If you ain't got love for yourself, what makes you think you deserve a woman? Learn who you are. Be that. That's all I got.
Oh, I felt the chills off of that one right there, boy.
And on that note, we out this mother.
Let's go, Trev.
You heard what he said, didn't you?
Bro, I don't even know if I can respond to that one. Wow.
Give your final thoughts, man. Just keep it rolling.
Wow, that was powerful right there. But my final thought, let's come together as men, as husbands, as brothers, as family, as a team. We have to get beyond that barrier of, like you said, Western society. Because Western society has already played our minds and already done things to us that took us way off of where we should be. Let us come together and let us be able to be weak. And when I say that, I mean be weak at where you can say to your brother, hey, I need you. I'm going through an issue right now, and I need someone to talk to. And we as men have to be weak enough and strong enough to receive it and to be able to pour into somebody else's life and be willing to be open about where we are as men. To let them know that sometimes, hey, I'm not even right. Well, I'm not even, right where I want to be. But because of where my team has me, my brothers have me, I'm able to be where I am now. And because of the way we are as men, we can be better to our families and to our spouses. So my final thought, don't be afraid to be weak.
All right, let's go, Lamar. They just dropped off, so.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start my final thought off with an apology to every man that's on this call, to every man that may be listening, to every woman. If I've ever said or done anything disrespectful from the bottom of my heart, I apologize. Starting today, I'm going to be cautious of how I walk, how I carry myself, because the respect thing is real. The respect thing is real. I vow today to give every man and woman their due respect. And whether I get it back in return, that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna be held accountable for what I do. I'm responsible for how I respond and how I react to any situation. That's what I'm gonna be held accountable for. So going forward, I'm going to respect you, and I'm going to continue to display as much love as I possibly can. In closing, A-Team stands for all together, encouraging every man. I got that tattooed on my body. I live for that, and I'm gonna die behind that. If it wasn't for my A-Team brothers, I promise you I wouldn't be here. I promise you I wouldn't be here. Y'all just don't know. Y'all have saved my life, literally. And we talking back 20 years. Trill, you was in my wedding, bro. And even before I got married, you was riding with me. Rome, D, we pushing almost 20. D was a baby. D couldn't even get in the club. And we done got fresh. Get all the way to the club for them to tell us, no, he can't come in. He ain't old enough. Y'all remember that?
Big shot.
Yep.
To my battle buddy, Christopher Taylor. Boy, man. Wow, that boy Taylor, man. We done been through some shit, bro. We used to, when we was in AIT in Augusta, Georgia, for AIT. Me and this dude on our breaks from class would crawl up under the Humvees, because you weren't supposed to have your cigarettes while you was in class. So we would crawl up under the Humvees away from the drill sergeants and everything like that and get us a couple puffs in before we went back into class. Good times, man. We done had some good times. Lee, man, I'm glad to have met you, and I'm glad that you're a part of the family. And I'm excited about the movement that we are embarking on right now, because it's needed. I said some stuff on this show that I ain't said to nobody. Nobody. And I finally have a platform, and I'm finally at a place in my life right now where I can just let these things go. I can get that closure now. I can call on my brother and say, look, man, I'm in a rough spot. And that's what we need as men. And like you said, no disrespect to our women, but sometimes there's things that we go through as men that there's nothing you can do. And I know it hurt. I know it bothers y'all, because you genuinely want to help. You genuinely want to take away that pain and help us and console us. I know you do. I know you do. And don't think for one second that it doesn't go, that it's not appreciated, because it is. Because you got some women out there who could care less. Man up. You a man. You should be able to handle this, that, and that. No. Sometimes we need to cry. Sometimes we need to be in a vulnerable position and just let it out. And y'all can't do it. Not for some things. You just can't do it. But now we have an opportunity to lock arms with our brother. And how we used to say it in the military, lean forward in the foxhole. We can do that now. And I'm challenging every man to evaluate themselves, get rid of that selfish pride, lock arms with your brother, and join this fight, man. It's not too late. It's not too late. We can do this. And I need you, Taylor, Lee. I need you, Trail. I need you, D. King. I need you. Everybody that's listening, I need you. We need each other right now.
Yeah.
Right now. We don't have time to be playing these bullshit ass games, y'all. We need each other right now. Let's go. Why? Because I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but I got them babies downstairs. I got my sons downstairs. That's why. I got 2 grown done left the house. Well, my babies need this. Give a damn whether I see it. But as long as I put myself in the position to that, so that they can reap the benefits of this hard work, I win. For my babies, for your babies, for your babies' babies. We can reverse that has been done to us, y'all. Those are my closing thoughts.
All right, D. Floor is yours.
Mic check. All right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, let's make it sure. All right, I ain't about to be here long. Everybody preaching with these sermons tonight, but go and tell it on the mount. I'm just gonna say, this change that we're talking about, it really starts with us. So the cliche is, if you want to be the change, if you want to see the change, go be the change. To add to it, I just wanted to say, everybody need to lean to that. What is it? Don't lean to their own understanding. You need to follow into God's words. Oh, there's a lot of kids out here. Sorry about that. You know, I'm driving. But just learn your purpose. Walk in your purpose. Do everything that you can do in your power. Don't be too proud. Learn how to pick up the phone whenever you need to, just to vent, just to talk. Everything isn't about finances or whatever, but I'm like, there's other ways that we can help each other. Like right about now, I'm not struggling financially, but sometimes I just need somebody to talk to sometimes. And I definitely got to salute Ron. I would say that I don't want to just single him out, but whenever I was on the road in Detroit, that man, he filled the application out and he came out there with. And there's been plenty of times, if it wasn't for him being out there on this road with, I would have gladly packed my bags up and came back home and still been living paycheck to paycheck. But that man does not understand what he did for me by coming out there joining forces with. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'm done tonight.
All right. So, man, my closing thoughts. I'm definitely with you, Chris. I'm ready for these men out here, especially the ones that are sending our women off. Ones that's out here, and I can't remember. I talked to one of y'all on this panel about this yesterday. Can't remember who it was. It was yesterday, the day before yesterday, but I'm so tired of listening to men literally telling our women what they think they want to hear versus giving them the truth. And there's a lot of them out there playing on our women's emotions just so they can make $1 or get some pussy. Y'all gonna be the first ones that I'm put my red beam on. And we're gonna shut all that nonsense down. Because you hurting us more than you helping us. what's his name? I think it's what, Kevin Samuels or something like that. All these people out here that hate that man, but he giving you the cold hard truth and facts. Period. All the other ones that I know that's out here or not, I don't know their names because every time I see their face, I just, I just literally, I push away from it because I get upset. They just sit back sending y'all off. No, but it starts with us. I definitely agree there. It starts with us. And just like everybody else on this panel, and I know a lot of other men that are out there as well, I'm definitely committed to change. It's like Lamar said, it is needed. It is needed. I'm gonna tell you, in the midst of it, or whatnot, this so-called fallacy of independence, that joint coming down too. It just is. It's like I always say, ain't nothing out here independent. Period. We are all interdependent, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to feel needed or being needed. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. And in my opinion, it makes you a stronger, I ain't gonna say man, but individual, to know that, yeah, I need you. So I ain't gonna make it long and drawn out because I'm supposed to be somewhere right now. I'm supposed to be somewhere right now. But you know, this is exactly what it is. You know, this is what we are doing right now is the exact reason why Can I Be the Man? A Letter from Us to You was written. And ladies, before y'all even read the book, right? What we doing right now for us men is literally why we are doing this right now. Because we know we got to get it together. We are physically trying to show y'all that we gonna make strides with this thing. So that when you do answer that question, you know that we serious about it. All right. So definitely appreciate everybody coming out or whatnot, and everybody coming out and watching us and just giving us the opportunity to be able to take some of your time over the last 2 hours. We appreciate it. We thank you. Don't forget to like and share. Check out my page on Facebook. Can I Be the Man? A Letter from Us to You. It is up under King Naib, KINGNAIB. Like and follow me on Instagram, King Naib, KING.NAIB. That's what it is. Be looking forward to Ateamtv. We got a whole lot of stuff that's doggone coming or not. I got my man Lee with Buckeye Financial doing his thing. If you need anything audio, that man Chris, that is the doggone man. I got my man G and D out here. Every throwback jersey you can doggone think of, he has it. He has it. I'm trying to tell you, we got so many talented people within the 18 family. It is literally ridiculous. It's literally ridiculous. So again, we appreciate y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. Thank you again.